Welcome very much to something that has been in the works for 3 years, something long overdue for this community. And it is not only an honor but a privilege to be such an important person and be part of the future for Mangrove Mike. Just like everybody else, I met Mangrove Mike probably like everybody else did. You go in his restaurant, he made you feel like family. He would come over, sit with you, talk to you, make you feel like, okay, this is somebody I can relate to. Mangrove and I actually were partners in a couple of things we did together. He was the reason I now have and continue to have a very successful rescues, because in the beginning, Mangrove was one of my main sponsors. He came to every one of my tournaments, he fished my tournaments, and he never ever stopped supporting me and caring for me as a person. That is probably my greatest memory of Mangrove. My tournament, the Poor Girl Sailfish Tournament, one year Mangrove was supposed to come and give out a trophy, and he had flown to Louisiana to get one dog. He called me from the airport, said, okay, I've got 2 dogs now, and I don't have time to go home, so they're coming to the tournament to give out the trophy. Right when trophies are being given out, Mangrove comes bursting in the doors with 2 puppies underneath his arms. There they are right now, Hank, Henry, and Miss Joy, who played the whole night as they ran around the banquet place of Whale Harbor and had the time of their lives. That was when I first saw the 2 dogs. Jumping forward to 2017, I don't think anybody can take away what he did for this community. I was one of the people who stayed during Hurricane Irma. I stayed at Dr. Foley, who was our veterinarian for my rescue. I stayed in the clinic with Dr. Foley, his wife, and 2 other people. And after Hurricane Irma passed, there was a turtle in the middle of the road. We had rabbits. People started coming with injured animals. Mike showed up every day with food for us. I mean, to the point where, like clockwork, he would come feed us, and then he'd go back and serve food no matter how long you were there and who needed food. I'm very lucky that I partner with another rescue in northern Florida. They heard that we had no way in or out of the Keys. We had people coming looking for food for their animals. They flew in little planes for me filled with medical supplies and food for the animals. And Mangrove went with me every day to meet the plane, to unload, so we could continue giving away food, not only for the people, but for the animals. So he went above and beyond. By day 3 or 4 after Irma, I guess the press started coming into the Keys. They heard what we were doing at Dr. Foley's. They showed up, and in the side door, here comes Mangrove with all our to-go food, and they were interviewing myself and Dr. Foley. After they left, Mangrove put the food down. He walked over to me, and here I'm thinking he's going to say something like, really good job, Sharon, way to go. Instead, he said, you might want to get out of your pajamas and take a shower. So, true story. So, having said that, I want to thank the community for the people who I picked up the phone and asked to help get this beautiful bench, that wonderful plaque, and I want to mention them because without them, we wouldn't have these things. Centennial Bank, who is always letting me open accounts for whatever event I'm doing. I thank them. Paul Minning, the partner in crime with me. Chris and Whitney Trentine, Island Construction, Robbie's, Native Construction, Kate and John Deloche, Anna and Jason Richards, Chris Santee, David and Jamie Ingalls, and Ed and Donna Webb. And by far the most heartwarming phone call I got at my shop on Thursday was from Virginia, from a gentleman who went to elementary school with Mangrove Mike. Called me and said he grew up with Mike, he heard about the dog park, and he wanted to do something. So with his help and all these others' help, the food, the drinks, and the dog treats are free to you guys, and they're all from the generous community that I'm very proud to be a part of. Roger Young, where is he? Let me tell you what, Paul and I were just going to put the bench here and that there. He did the bricks. He did everything. Plus, we ordered the bench. We didn't know it was coming in pieces. So Roger Young put it together for us. So that is above and beyond what he did. Maria, who is our park director, you tell her you need something, and poof, where is she? There, it's her. She does it all. Maria, thank you. Yeah, there she's getting rained on. IT for the village, Frank, who has been sick, but yet got here and took care of everything for me. Sterling, which I should be calling Bill Silver, get it, Sterling Silver, who's generously playing some music so you guys can enjoy the atmosphere. I thank him. Two Tiffanys, that's what I call them, from the United Way. Thank you so very much for coming up here. Be like Mike and donate food to our food banks. That's what he would do. Heidi has the dog treats. I'm telling you guys, go get a dog treat for your dog. She did. Emma from Quenched. She makes the best coffee drinks. In fact, I'll be getting one anytime now, I'm sure. And the Italian Food Company, never a disappointment, involved in everything in this community. The Free Press and the Keys Weekly. You guys are at everything. Every time I turn around, you're there. I don't like pictures, but I know you do that. And finally, Judy Hall from our chamber, where she brought me the big scissors to cut. And it wouldn't be an event without having a shout out to Ron Saunders, our village manager, who after only 6 months on the job is ready to move to Texas. So, having said all this, I'd like to turn the mic over to Paul Minning, who, with him, 3 years. Come on, Paul. 3 years we've been working on this. You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. So Sharon kind of told the whole story, and I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet like me. Haha. This has been something I've been trying to do for almost 4 years. And there's been some hurdles. I'm going to stay very positive. We finally made it happen. And it took Sharon Mahoney to make this happen. It took Roger Young to make this happen. And the right council that we finally have in line and the right manager to make this happen. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Anna. I don't know if the other council people are here. Deb's here. Thank you, Deb. Oh, there you are. Sorry, Deb. It wouldn't have happened, and I was surprised when it didn't happen, but we finally made it happen. Mike was a friend of mine. He was very inspirational in pushing me to work for the village. After COVID, I was an unemployed charter boat operator with a criminal justice background, so he thought I was a good fit. I love my job. I've been here for 5 years. I love serving this community, and now I have the privilege of running the code enforcement department. And I thank Mike for that. I'm not going to tell a bunch of stories about Mike because it's going to make me cry. Please enjoy this event. Tell stories about Mike. He was quite a character. I fished with him. He did my 50th surprise birthday party that my wife had him cater. He was a great guy. He's one of a kind. He'll never be replaced. And I talked to him today about the rain. I said, give us a break, and he did. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody that contributed money. We made this happen. This cost the village of Islamorada $0. Everything from the install from Roger and Islamorada Brick Company to everything that's behind us here. There were a lot of naysayers that wanted to say, what's this going to cost? It cost the village $0. So thank you for coming. Enjoy the afternoon, and God bless you all.
Michelle and Paul Caceres have Mangrove's 2 dogs. Where is Hank? Again, Henry, keep calling him Hank, and Miss Joy. Michelle and Paul were probably Mangrove's closest friends in the Keys, and I know Michelle wants to say something. So You guys want to come up? Keep those dogs from knocking me over.
Today we gather to honor and remember a truly special man, Mangrove Mike. I know, it's your fault. What began years ago as a friendship grew into something far deeper, family. Mike had a way of bringing people in, of making them feel valued and seen. His kindness, his laughter, and his love for this community left a mark on us all who were lucky enough to know him. At the center of Mike's world were his fur babies, Henry and Miss Joy. They were not just pets to him, they were his kids, his constant companions and reflection of the love he gave so freely. Being entrusted with the privilege of carrying on his legacy through them is something I hold with immense gratitude. Through Henry and Miss Joy, Mike's spirit continues to live on in the most beautiful way. It is an honor beyond words to be a part of the dog park here at Founders, dedicated in Mike's name. This space reflects so much of who he was, welcoming, joyful, and full of life. A place where friendships are formed, laughter is shared, and love is unconditional, just as Mike would have wanted. Mike's legacy lives not only in this park, but in the hearts of those he touched, the family he created, and the love he left behind. Though he may no longer be with us physically, his presence is felt here every day, in every wagging tail, every smile, and every moment of joy. Mike, you are deeply missed, forever loved, and never forgotten. Thank you. You did it. I thought I wrote it.
Oh, okay, no event in the Keys would be complete without our wonderful Tony Hammond. Listen to me. Thanks, Michelle. Tony, would you please come up?
Well, I have absolutely no script for today because the relationship I had with Mike was way beyond script. You know, we started out as actually on the opposite side of two issues before the village years ago. And then at some point, he said, I want to go to Uganda with you. And that's when things began to change. So over the next 3 years, we traveled to Uganda back and forth and spent 2 weeks over there. And I used to have to check his luggage every time to make sure he didn't have Ugandan orphans stashed away in his suitcases on the way home because I didn't think we'd clear customs. And then I looked out one day and I realized he's about to be my next door neighbor. And I used to kid him, I'd say, Mike, you are so close to my house that I think you sleep in my living room. Sometimes I felt like a drug dealer. He'd call me and say, hey, I need you to run over and get such and such for me at the house. And or do you have any such and such? And I'd go, yeah, let me go get it for you. And we just became, as all of you, as I looked out at this group, I thought almost everybody here felt the same way about Mike. He was my brother. He was a family member. He was whatever it may be. And of course, in the last days when he made me his proxy, by the way, don't ever do that to anyone. At least if you're going to make him a proxy, let them know that they're going to be the proxy, please. But I journeyed through those last days with him. It was as challenging as anything I've ever had to deal with. I have, quite frankly, I've grieved the loss of Mike more than a lot of family members. In fact, I've had some family members I haven't grieved at all, but that's another story. But the truth is, Mike indeed was a brother. I loved Mike beyond words, and I know all of you feel that same way. And I called Paul. I said, hey, my wife has terrible dog allergies. That's why she's not here today. I said, Colleen, there might be a few dogs there tomorrow. And so I couldn't take Hank and Joy, but I knew who I could call and get to take. Actually, I started with Michelle, and then we had to hand them off, and that was a good handoff. So I'm glad they're alive and well and grown. And by the way, I think the inaugural dog walk should be these dogs, just my opinion. So let's bow together, and I'm just going to close in a word of prayer, and we're just going to thank the Lord for Mike and his life and his legacy. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this community. for each person that's here today, for the great effort that everyone has put into this. There's so many people that I would neglect someone if I started mentioning names. So Father, you know them, you know their hearts, you know the sacrifice. Father, most of all, you know the heart and the mind of Mike. I watched this man love not only his community, but love kids like no one else, pets. Father, I am so grateful for the privilege I had to know him, to call him brother. I pray that you will just continue to help his legacy live out in this community as we walk through life together. Thank you for the friendships that are represented here today, remembering Mike. And thank you for this honor, Father. And we just thank you for Mike. In your precious name, amen.
Ready? In loving memory of our good friend, Mangrove Mike.